What's up guys, Magic Bard here with a pretty awesome tutorial we got today. Super simple and straight to the point. We're going to be adding time lapses to regular footage or slowed down footage. I kind of came up with this idea when I saw it on American Gods a couple of nights ago in episode 2, where Shadow's wife Laura was looking out the window and there's a time lapse of the seasons going by. And I was like, hey, I think we can try this one out and put it up on YouTube. So this is what that's going to be all about. And if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. Turn on the notifications by clicking on the little bell right next to the subscribe button. And you'll be the first to learn epic visual effects every single week. Alright guys, that's it. Let's get on to the tutorial. So what we're going to do is make sure when you film this one that whatever you're filming against is sort of blown out. I mean, the ideal way to do this is to shoot it against a green screen. So if there's a green screen outside, that would be best. But yeah, this is the kind of shot that I got, and I shot this in 120 frames per second, so that's why it's in that's why it is actually in slow motion. So we're gonna take your clip, okay, and drag it into a new comp. Alright, cool. So we have our clip, nice and slow mode. And first things first is we're going to track your comp. So I was holding my camera on a ladder, so it's not exactly super still as it would be on a tripod. So what I'm going to do is track the shot. So I'm going to find a point away from my actor, Ben. Okay. So right over here on the window looks good to me. Transform, position, cool. And let me drag this up so we can see what we're working with here. And we're going to track forward. So this button right here. Okay, great. Now we're going to go to layer, new, null object. We're going to add a null object in here and connect our tracking data by clicking edit target. Make sure it's on null 2. Okay. And apply. Okay, so now we have our tracking data on our null object. Press U to check it out. Good, looks good. Now we're going to go to layer, new, solid. And white solid's good for me. Any color, really. And now we're going to matte out all of these window squares, okay? So you can take the pen tool and make sure that the white solid is selected. And what we're going to do is cut out each square. Okay, now that we got all these squares cut out, you could check it by clicking on the little eye button. So it looks good. And make sure when you're cutting out the squares that if you have any lampshades or anything like that to kind of go over them. Okay. And you know, I had a plant right here, but I just cut that one out for now. What you guys would do is just make sure that you go and pen tool over the plant, or you can rotoscope that if you want. So we got our squares up, and you notice that I did cut out Ben, and we'll fix that one in a second. And what we're going to do is parent this to our null object. So just click your pick whip tool right here and drag it onto the null. And now it should be, now all of our squares should be stuck to the null, so whenever the camera shakes, as you can see it shaking, the squares will shake with it. Cool? Looking good. So let's put that null on top of the white solid for now. And what we're going to do is click on your clip that you filmed and go to track matte, and you're going to alpha invert the matte. Okay, so now we have all of our windows cut out right there. So now let's add in our background, and I have a little mountain time lapse right here, and this is looking pretty good. It's a couple of time lapses, so I'm gonna cut it right before we get to that other one, and just trim my comp down, and trim comp to work area. Okay, so yeah, it's as easy as that. So we added our background in there. Now we need to get Ben on top of the square. So what we're going to do there is duplicate our footage layer. So Command D or Control D if you're on Windows. and we'll have this guy right over here. Let's turn the track matte off of him. And now all you got to do is roto brush and rotoscope Ben out. So just take your roto brush tool, and a little handy thing is if you hold down the command button and then click and drag, you can resize the brush tool. Okay, and so we're gonna start to roto him out. Okay, and that looks good. And then just kind of go open this guy up here, so when we freeze it, it'll render out the whole clip. And then we can kind of zoom in there by pressing the plus sign to double check it. Okay. And then what you're going to do is either go frame by frame, so page down, and just kind of watch your matte happen in place. Or if you feel confident that it's going to go, that you're going to get your pink lines all the way through, then I would just click on the freeze button, and it will render out your matte all the way through. Okay, good guys, so I'm going through this pretty fast, but you get the point. What we're doing is we have a few layers going on. So we have our actor in the front, okay? And you can see that with the rotoscope that we did. And, you know, you can kind of finesse this the way you want, but it's actually fine if we get a little bit of the frames in there on our rotoscope. So we have our actor in the front, we have our windows, okay, and then we have what we see through the window, okay, which is our time lapse. What I would do is add a little bit of color correction to our background. Not a lot. I mean, I'm pretty much fine with this, but listen, if your scene is a little bit yellow or blue, I would also add a bit of that to the background. But for now, I'll just kind of brighten it up a little bit and then turn up the contrast just a tad. Okay, that looks good. And then what I would do is take my, I'll put this on top of the null actually. Take my null, my white solid, which is my window cutouts, and then my basically, here, let's just name this window frame, and then our top one, our actor. Okay, so take our three null, white solid, window frame, and let's pre-compose that, okay, into our window frame pre-comp. Press OK. And then what we can do is duplicate this window frame layer, and on the bottom one, I'll go to gradient and use the four color gradient, and that'll kind of choose the colors closest to what's happening in the outdoors. So this blue is on the bottom right, so I'll go kind of a I'll go more of a whitish color, closer to white. And then this pink is over here on the bottom left, so I'll actually make that one, sorry about that, I'll make that white. And up here, top left, I'll go with a darker blue. And then on the top right, I'll go more of a whitish gray, looks like. And then we'll go over here and apply a fast blur and maybe do 20 pixels. Okay, so you start to see this bit of a glow. It's a dreamy look. I like what we're going with here. Maybe we'll go with 15. And that's the effect, guys. And one more right before we end this one off. What I would do is take your composition, take it all, select all the layers, layer pre-compose, the whole thing. So slow-mo comp, and then just click S to open up your scale and kind of zoom in there. So give it a 110, and then boom, you guys are ready to go. So you've got a cool little zoom in, and it just adds a little dramatic effect, and done. That's our little slow motion added to a time lapse effect that now you guys can do just like American Gods and become epic visual effects artists. Alright guys, I'm Magic Bard. Feel free to follow me on social media. I'm at Magic Bard on Facebook and Instagram. And if this video helped you at all, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of cool things coming out soon for you guys to check out. And if there are any tutorials or visual effects that you want to learn more about, let me know in the comments and I'll try to get to it ASAP. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.